Welcome to the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast with your host, Julie C. Butler. If you're looking to build the business of your dreams, then this is the space you want to be in. Join Julie as she talks about ways that you can successfully scale your profitable dream business, one that will give you ultimate time freedom and the abundant lifestyle you deserve. Julie will take you by the hand, sharing with you her business savvy strategies as she chats it up with her favorite online entrepreneurs. You'll get a weekly dose of boosted confidence as you learn as they reveal their insight, tips, and tools that you need to start building a profitable dream business of your own, one that you'll love and that works for you on autopilot.
Hello there, and welcome back to the BBB podcast. Today on the podcast, we have my beautiful friend, Brittany Budd. Brittany is a wife and a mother living in Eastern Canada. She has 3 children and 2 baby girls in heaven. She was a stockbroker for 7 years, managing over $21 million in assets for over 150 families before becoming a business coach in 2020. Her company has made 6 figures organically every year. She helps female entrepreneurs to build and scale to 6 figures and in their businesses using organic social media marketing strategies. Hi, Brittany. Welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I know. And us 2 Canadian gals, you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And so before we dive in, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So like Julie said, I live on the East Coast. I am a wife. I've been married to my husband for almost 11 years. We have 3 beautiful children, ages 9, 7, and 5. We've got 2 little girls that we lost last year and 4 years ago. And we're going through IVF. So I could be pregnant right now.
And by the time this airs, you might have a bun in the oven. Fingers crossed. We hope.
Thank you. I was a stockbroker for 7 years before moving into the marketing consulting strategy space online. When I was a stockbroker, I managed over $21 million in assets for over 150 different families. And it was amazing. But as I was building my business, much differently than the old school ways of building a business. I was doing it all online, and I had lots of people reaching out to me saying, who's doing your branding? Who's doing your marketing? Can you teach me? And I was like, yes. So right before the pandemic, February 2020, I decided to step out and retire from finance and start my own business as a business marketing and content strategist. We've been doing that for the last almost 3.5 years now. And it's been amazing. I've done over $650,000 in sales by myself in that time. So it's been quite the journey.
I love that. And I love that you share with us like your numbers, because that's like for some of us that are listening and we're like, oh, we're not where we want to be. But hearing people who have paved the road for us, who have gone, who have had the success, makes us, just know that it's possible and know what's possible. And it's available for all of us, every single one of us, right? We can all have that success, whatever that looks like for each and every one of us. So I love that. And if you're listening, you guys, you have to go and follow Brittany, because she's so good at what she's going to talk about that it's so inspiring. And sometimes we kind of like, we're not sure how to do it, or we want to kind of see someone in action. And so I love watching you and the way you post and all the things, because first of all, you're so, your personality shines, and I love, because you truly share from an authentic place, but also transparency. And that's one of the things that I love about you. Yeah. And so I know. And so it's so cool that we're able to follow people who inspire us, and we can kind of study them, right? We don't want to copy what they're doing, obviously, but, take some and leave some, and then, then go out and be our authentic selves, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. I love that. So today we're going to talk about content to create a personal brand and get clients.
Ah, That's what
Yeah.
we all want. That's what we're here for, right?
I know. I know. It's one thing to create content, but let's face it, let's be honest. We want clients, we want money. That's why we do this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's dive in. So, okay, so what are some effective strategies for creating content that aligns with your personal brand? Because I mean, that's important too.
Yeah. For the first thing is being authentic. People, we hear it all the time. The market's changing. People want to buy from other people.
Yes.
And so there's a shift, right? In the early days, and even looking back, 10 years ago, you were to put on a show, kind of. You didn't let
Mm-hmm.
anybody see you fail. You didn't let anybody see you stumble. You didn't let anybody see you struggling. It was only the highlight reel. And we can all kind of agree with that. Whether you have a business or not, even if you have kids, how many pictures of your kids do you take before you actually get a good one where everybody's looking and everybody's smiling, and you actually post that one? You don't post the 200 that you took before that. And because the market it's already shifted. I don't think it's shifting anymore. It's already moved. So, if you're feeling like you're left behind, you're not, but you need to start implementing this stuff right now, is letting people see the real and raw version of you that you hold back on because you're afraid of, people perceiving you in certain ways, because as I say, people want to buy from people that are other people, like other
Mm-hmm.
human beings. If you're in like the coaching, consulting, service-based world, and that's what your business is, your clients are also living very real human lives. Sometimes shit hits the fan. Sometimes things go sideways. And if you can share those parts of yourself, then the people that are watching you feel even more connected to you, because they go, oh, she's gonna relate to what I'm saying. She's probably not going to judge me. I don't have to be afraid to tell the truth when I work with this person. And that's the key. I think that's like the most important thing. Now, that doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
you have to share all the dirty laundry. No, don't do that. There's lots of things that I will never talk about on my social media because I just don't think it's relevant to my audience. I don't think it's helping anybody. And so I don't. But one of the big things, as we kind of talked about at the very beginning, I've lost babies. I'm going through IVF. All these different things are happening in my life. And I am very vocal about it. And the reason I'm so vocal about it is because statistically, my audience is women. And if those women decide that they want to have children, 50% of those women who decide to have children will struggle or also lose babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I took off most of last year from my business because we had lost a baby in March. I was 17 weeks pregnant with a little girl and she passed away. And so I was a shell of a person for most of last year. I was allowed to do that. I had built a business that gave me that comfort and that safety and that security to go, you know what? I don't want to talk to other people right now. And I want other women that work with me to go, okay, she's a safe person for me to bring stuff to. She's a safe person. She's not going to, gaslight me and bypass me at the same time. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Bypass me or gaslight me when real life starts happening. She's going to get it and she's going to help me navigate that. And I think that that's important because we're all trying to build businesses that have freedom built in, and we're not doing that. We are building businesses that look like prison
Perfect.
cells. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can never walk away. We're chained to it. We can never take a break. Even when we do quote unquote take a break, we're checking, we're looking at the notifications, we're sending emails, we're posting, we're building things that feel terrible.
I love that you share that because sometimes, I'm sure the question that comes up is like, how much or how little do you share, right? And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it really depends on you and what you feel you want to share. And the thing is too, I think it's important that, if you share something and you're like, it just doesn't feel right, then you don't have to continue sharing that stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so, but, back to what you were saying about people buy from people. I probably am more likely to buy from someone who shares their vulnerabilities, who share their, who are transparent and shares their struggles versus someone who just looks perfect all around online, right? Because that's not how business works. We know that. It's a mess, right? It gets messy in the middle, and that's okay, because that's what makes us become the people we are meant to become in the business that we build, right?
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to kind of put that in the proper perspective, that everyone that you're looking at online is only posting the highlight reel. And we hear more and more, which is why I say I think the market's already shifted, more and more of, the horror stories, and the truth is starting to come out about some of these people where maybe they're not super honest about it, which is really unfortunate. And then the other thing you got to remember is, if you're starting out, don't look at that coach, that consultant, that whoever that's been around for a decade and has like 25 people on their team, and they don't show up. They just have pretty pictures posted. Of course, that looks perfect. There's 25 people in the background making that happen and making that work. You're probably flying solo. You might have a VA, but you're probably flying solo here. So put it in the proper perspective.
You're absolutely right. And, but also remember that they were where we are now, right? Like, depending where you're at in your business, like you said, chances are probably solo or with a VA. And, they all started there too, right?
Exactly.
And so a lot of times they're being the CEOs now, or the COO or whatever, and they're managing the team. And so they've built a business that allows them to be non-present from their business and still be successful, because they have massive Facebook ad budgets, right? Right. And things to allow them to do that. And they've built a business that, exactly, they started whatever 10, 15, 20 years ago, just like us. But now that they've, they did the work, they put in the time, and like you said, times have shifted. It's different now, right? Like, they didn't have to do what we have to do now in order to be successful in business, in order to be recognizable and being a recognizable brand, right?
Exactly right. And the other thing to remember is there is no such thing as an overnight success. There's just a lot of failures that you didn't see.
Yeah. There's no instant gratification here.
No, absolutely not.
Right. We have to put in the work, every single one of us. But you know what? It's fun. Make it fun. It doesn't have to be this complicated, stressful thing. Yes, sure, there's going to be, days where we're, frustrated and things like that. Find a bestie, vent, get it off your chest, and then let it go and move on, right? We just got to pick back up and keep going. Like, if we quit after like every single little thing that happened, there will be none of us left, right? Because shit happens to every single one of us at every level. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you identify the type of content that will resonate with your target audience?
I mean, going back to what I said earlier, being yourself is the most important thing. Good marketing does just as good a job at attracting and being a magnet to dream clients as it does repelling people who are not good fit. And I think a lot of people forget that part. They think, oh, well, I just need to attract, and everyone just needs to come in and they all need to like me. No, you want to be repelling people too. And so when you think about who your target audience is and who your ideal clients are, putting out content that speaks to them and relates to you and relates you and them so that they feel an emotional connection to you. I always say the best trick in the book is when you're sharing and you're serving. And when I say serving, I know serving and value and all these things are just kind of words that don't really mean anything sometimes. And so the way that I look at it is, what are the problems that my people are facing, and how can I give them a quick win today? How can I talk to them about it? How can I encourage them today? How can I give them some tips or some tricks about it? Those are the types of things that I mean when I talk about giving value and serving. But when you are, showing up and serving and sharing your stories, the secret in my mind is You want to create that ripple effect where your ideal client is watching you and turning and going, oh, my friend Julie posted about XYZ. And the key thing here is my friend Julie, right? They're watching you and they think that you guys are friends, even though maybe they have no idea who you are. You know, like lots of people I believe are out there saying, my friend Brittany posted this and my friend Brittany said that. And maybe we've never had a conversation before, but they feel emotionally connected to me. They feel bonded to me. They feel a kinship with me. And that's amazing. Those people are my fans. They're saying my name in rooms that I don't know about. They're turning and saying, hey, my friend Brittany said this, that, or the other thing to someone who doesn't know me. And it's creating that huge ripple effect. And we forget that. You know, when we're posting and we're like, oh, only 10 people liked it, or only 20 people came to my live. Those are real human beings that are on the other side of a screen who took time out of their day to like or watch or comment. And if they were standing in front of you, standing, you know, in your office or in your bedroom or in your living room or wherever you work from, standing there getting ready to listen to you, you'd be like, this is way too many people. Why are you all here?
So true. It's so true. And just for a minute, let's talk about this whole engagement thing, because sometimes we think that just because there's no engagement on our posts, that nobody sees us, nobody knows what we're going, what we're doing, nobody knows what's happening.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because just because we don't get the likes or just because we don't get the comments doesn't mean people aren't watching, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You can't take likes to the bank and ask to exchange it for a mortgage payment. That's not how it works. So it really doesn't matter. I never look. And I've gotten so much shit for saying this from other like business coaches saying that I'm like unprofessional for telling this to my clients. But I tell everyone, don't look.
But I love that. I love that because we get so caught up on the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even freaking matter. Like what matters is that you're showing up. People are watching. Like
Exactly.
I see your posts all the time, Brittany. I don't comment or like every single one of them.
No.
First of all, because we're busy. We're moms.
Exactly.
We're running a business. You know, we're running around to graduations and proms and all the things.
Exactly.
We're cooking, we're cleaning, we're doing laundry. I don't have time to post and comment on every single one of your posts. Doesn't mean I'm not watching, right? Doesn't mean I don't see you,
Yeah.
right? So I love that you say that because it just, I feel the same way. And I think that it's important to remember that who cares about the likes and it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. People are watching and it's going to happen. You're going to be talking to someone or someone's going to comment and be like, oh yeah, I've been watching you or I saw you post that the other day and you're going to hear that more and more. Mm-hmm. And you'll be like, okay, people are seeing me, people are watching me, but that doesn't equal the amount of likes we have on our posts, right?
Oh, not at all. And I think it's important that if we're going to talk about this, we talk about the flip side to this.
Yes.
Which is also pretend nobody is seeing you. Because if we go, okay, everyone's seeing me, everybody's watching, everyone, you know, I'm being witnessed here. Unfortunately, that's not true. Like the flip side of that is that that's also not true. It's true and false at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why putting out more content is better. Mm-hmm. There's conflicting views, there's some people that will say, if you just put out one great piece, the right people will see it. I believe that totally. The other side though, is if you put out a lot of pieces, then you have a higher chance of hitting more people. And I am in that camp and you know it, how much I post. Mm-hmm. Because we are at the whim of the algorithm, right?
Yes.
And so if you post with this belief that, okay, I'm just going to post once a week and everyone's going to see it, just like you just said, they're busy. They may not be on social media at the same time that you are posting. They may be being dragged by their children. They may be getting a phone call in the middle of reading it. They may, who knows what else. And so the flip side of that is, assume everyone's seeing it, assume no one is seeing it, and show up all of the time so that you are top of mind for the people that are actually seeing it. Because like I said, I think so many people go, oh, I posted about this last week and nobody signed up. Did they see it? That's not enough. You got to do it all the time, multiple times a day. So there's like, it's a catch-22, but that's where we get to have fun and tell stories and ask crazy questions and show off our personalities. Yes, we're running businesses, but we are the brand.
Yeah.
And so telling those stories of, hey, it was prom, or hey, we're getting ready for graduation, or we're moving to Costa Rica, or hey, we're going through IVF again. All of these different things where it's not business related, but it lets people in and it keeps you top of mind. And again, when you think of the algorithm, which we could have a whole conversation about the algorithm.
I know. Let's not talk about the algorithm.
Let's not go down there. But
we all know how it is. We all know what's there.
If you're saying things about your life while also saying things about your business, people are more likely to engage on things that have to do with your life versus your business. And so when you think of that, like I think of the algorithm as a game where it's a win-lose point system. You put out things that people engage with, engagement questions, stories about your real life, you get points in the algorithm. So then when you go to post a sales post, which we know doesn't get the likes, it doesn't get the engagement that we want, it just doesn't. The algorithm goes, she just racked up a bunch of points over here on this thing. The chances are that people react the same way on this post are high. So let's show it to a lot of people. And so you're not going to get the likes, you lose the points, but you got the visibility that you wanted. And so that's why I'm always telling my clients, and I'm telling you guys right now too, it's got to be a combination. It can't be sales, 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 sales all the time, because you're just losing points in the algorithm. And the next thing you know, you're going, okay, no one's seeing my stuff, no one's buying. You're not playing the game. And it is a game. That we're at the whim of Mark Zuckerberg.
I love that you call it a game and do a combo of everything. And then probably like, if you don't know where to start, if you're listening to this, maybe do like one fun, relatable post, and then one sales, and then one and then by sales, I mean, we're not gonna, that's not what we're talking about today, but sales can look like many different things, right? Yeah. It can look like getting people to sign up for your freebie. It can go like, that's what we mean by sales post, but having an infusion of your personality, right? Mm-hmm. What's going on behind the scenes. And then you're so good at turning an experience into a story, into a business kind of story, right? Yeah. Like you kind of like, you're so good at doing that. And that's why I say, like, if you're listening to this, make sure you go follow Brittany, because you'll see what we're talking about and you can see exactly what she's saying here. And I love it because I see your posts all the time now, right? Yeah. Right. Because you do such a good job at doing that, the combo of the two things. And then your sales emails, like I see them, right? Like you're planning a retreat and in September. Yeah. And so I see those posts, right? So I'm seeing the combo. So I love that you say that. And I think that it's key to making people, see us more. And I want to add to that, the whole algorithm thing, and assume nobody sees you. You can never overshare on social media, right? Never.
No.
And chances are, if you talked about something yesterday and you talk about it again today, they probably already forgotten or they didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Repeated marketing is the best marketing.
Yeah.
It shows that you understand what you're doing. You understand who you're talking to. You understand what you're selling, how you help people. Like that creates like the resonance with your audience.
And you know what? Personally, as a consumer, I love repetitiveness because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to look at that. And then I forget. And then I see the next post or the next email and I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. So I love that. And I expect, to see it again. Mm-hmm. Like I want to see it again. I want to to see that post again, that sales pitch, whatever, because sometimes, like we said earlier, we're busy and you see something and you're like, I must sit down and look at that later. And then you forget because that's what happens. But then, so seeing it again is like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do that now. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of me out there, right, Brittany? Like, I'm sure you can agree that, I'm sure that you've also have shared your posts multiple times for the retreat, for example, and somebody said to you, oh my God, thank you so much for the reminder.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah.
Of course. That's that's the thing. And I kind of piggybacking off this, I want to encourage anyone listening that's going, well, I don't want them to get sick of me I don't know if you saw my post last week, but I was like, when you made your dream client list, was some of the characteristics including gets sick of me, hates how much I post, doesn't like my personality? Like, no, that's not on the dream client list. So if you're afraid that people are going to be sick of you, you're afraid of the wrong people. Like, you're catering to people that you wouldn't want to work with in the first place, because your dream clients are never sick of you. They're like, thank you for reminding me.
Absolutely. And I could never get sick of seeing the posts and the repetitive posts of someone who I want to work with, someone I admire, someone that inspires me, someone that, I look up to, et cetera, because, that's kind of just like, you just don't. Right. Like, I don't unsubscribe to emails from people that I want to follow because they sent, we're also know the game also as a consumer, know the game, know that if they're launching a program, you're going to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 emails. And that's okay. If you're not interested, but you want to stay on the list, just delete the emails. Not a big deal. Right. So knowing the game, put yourself on the other side now and know you've got to play the game and send out the 10 emails, because there's people like me who are expecting the 10 emails, and we know that that's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah,
exactly right.
Right. We're smart now. We know how, we know how marketing goes a little bit. We know the sales emails and the sales pitches and the repetitiveness. So, but you got to do the same thing. We got to turn around and do that too, so that our consumers are be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so glad she sent out 10 emails, because I would have forgotten. For real. Right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I have so many emails that are just like unopened with like, I've starred them. It's like, I got to come back to this.
Same thing, same for me. Yep. Okay, so now let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid when creating content to your personal brand.
Yeah, I think we kind of already talked about it a little bit.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming everybody sees everything you post is false. Worrying about likes. Don't worry about likes. When we think about like selling though, I think that a lot of people make the mistake of not actually selling. Like, it's very passive and almost apologetic. And like, no, you need to be really bold and bossy about it, because people need to take direction, because they are distracted. And if they're even remotely confused by what you want them to do, they're not going to do it. They don't have time to sit there and try to analyze, oh, well, am I supposed to reach out? Am I supposed to go to her website? What even is her website? Do I have to go to her profile? Nope, they're done. They're already out. They don't have time for this shit. And so, like, be bold, be bossy. Be like, hey, if this is like, you want to work with me, here's a button. Go click this button. On this button, it's going to tell you X, Y, and Z. Just follow the steps. It's very simple. You can do it. I believe in you. Other mistakes include over-educating and never making an offer. I think that a lot of people kind of hide behind that kind of thing and think, oh, well, if I give so much knowledge, then they will just come to me and say, how can I pay you? That's not a thing either. Making it complicated for people to pay you. Don't make people jump through hoops to pay you. I saw someone recently who had a sales page. They were sharing their sales page link, but whatever website builder they used, it didn't have any options for buttons. So they were like, here's a link to go look at the sales page. And if you are like resonating or it's aligned to you or whatever, here's another link that you can now go to book a call with me. Wow. And I was like, well, people don't want to go to multiple links. Like,
no, that's too complicated. That's too complicated.
Like, make it easy for people to pay you. Just put a payment button. So crazy. Like, I don't know. So there's lots of mistakes, and I mean, we could sit here and pick apart everything.
That could be a whole nother training.
The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is all strategies work, and it's about finding the strategy that works for you.
Yes. And you can test and try and see, and just, listen to your intuition, do what feels in alignment, because your intuition will never lie. Right.
Exactly. And like, don't be afraid to test.
Yes. And
I
it's
love
okay to make a
experimenting.
mistake. Yeah, it's okay if you post something and you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Whatever,
Oh
don't do it
well,
again. Not the big
yeah,
deal. Right?
they're gonna forget. They're gonna forget. And it's okay
Hmm.
if you fail at things. Like you're gonna fail at things. Big freaking whoop. By
I
the end
know.
of the year, you're gonna
Whatever.
forget.
Let it go. Be gone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Just move on to the next
Move
thing.
on. Yeah. Okay. So how can we use content to establish yourself as an authority in your field and attract clients?
Yeah, being really unapologetic about who you are, who you serve, and what you do, about how awesome you are, about your knowledge and experience. Like, don't be afraid to rustle some feathers. Don't be afraid to say bold shit. Don't be afraid to brag about yourself. Like, that is how those like thought leaders and authentic people, like that's how they are marketing themselves. And you don't have to wait until you have made $1 million before you can celebrate yourself and brag and make bold claims. Start making bold claims now. And that doesn't mean to falsify information,
Of
but
course.
you know, when I first started into this, the first words out of my mouth were, I'm going to help anyone that works with me one-on-one make 6 figures in 12 months or less. I had just started. I didn't even have my first client yet. And that was the bold claim I was making. And it wasn't because I was like, you know, shooting the breeze and like flying by the seat of my pants here. I have a BSc. I majored in biopsychology. So I understand the human brain. I understand buying and selling patterns. I have 7 years of finance under my belt where I was marketing myself constantly, selling myself constantly every day, multiple times a day to get my client base. I understood money differently than most people. Like 99% of the world does not think about money the way I think about money, doesn't teach money the way I teach money, doesn't understand marketing the way I understand marketing. And so it wasn't a lie to me to sit there and go, you want to make 6 figures this year? Let's fucking go. This is how you work with me.
Hmm.
Even though I hadn't done it myself yet, it didn't matter, right? I think that there's definitely a disconnect out there where it's like, well, if you haven't done it, don't say it. Um, but at the same time, you know, if you want to go like really extreme, like I go to trauma therapy. My therapist doesn't have to have experienced what I experienced to give me tools to help me through my trauma, right? I didn't have to have, you know, a coaching business to hit 6 figures before I could say I could help people. I knew that I had the qualities and qualifications and skills to get someone there. And it
Yes.
wasn't about, you know, falsifying and lying and kind of hoping I would get there. It was, I know what I'm doing here, and it's okay that I haven't done it yet. You're going to watch me do it. Lucky you. And I did do it. I did 6 figures in like 10 and a half months.
I love
And
that.
I've done 6 figures every year since.
Yeah, and a lot of us also think that we need certificates or
Uh,
diplomas and things in order to do the things that we want to do, right?
no,
Like
I hate
in
it.
you know, in the 15 years that I've been a photographer, not a single client has asked me for a certificate or where I went to school to become a photographer. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Doesn't matter because I provide them with the quality, right?
Yeah.
Photography in the end, right? So, and most people is like, if I was to hire you, Brittany, I would not ask for your credentials. I don't care. I've been
Yeah.
watching you online long enough to know that A, you're my person. Two, you can get me to where I want to be. That's all that matters. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter if you got certificate A or certificate B or diploma or whatever the case might be, or
Yeah.
a certification in coaching. A lot of people go through this. Say like, but I don't have a certification in coaching. Who cares?
That's
Doesn't
the
matter.
patriarchy. We could have a whole conversation about the
I
patriarchy right
know.
now.
So, but it's important to know that we can do, if you feel that you can do something, go out there and do it. Nobody's
Yep.
going to ask you for a certificate or your training
No.
background,
Nope.
right? Yeah, we are all capable of teaching the thing or helping or coaching or doing the thing that it's our purpose. That's
Hmm.
what we're here for. Go out and do it. once you figure out what that is, right? And it may change.
Yeah.
But whatever,
Definitely
that's
going to
part of the
change.
journey, part of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question. What role does consistency, right? We talked about that a little bit, play in building a strong personal brand through content creation?
Yeah. Consistency is key because those that are watching, and even those are just kind of like half watching, if you show up kind of here and there and everywhere and not really and sort of, people are that are seeing it are going to go, I haven't seen you in a minute. What's been going on? And if they are nosy enough and go to your profile and realize you just haven't been showing up, like you've been really inconsistent, that's a big red flag, right? Like if McDonald's is tried and true. I love using McDonald's as an example. If I started going to my local McDonald's and they were closed when they should be open, or like the infamous ice cream machine is always broken, right? Like you can't go to McDonald's for an ice cream machine. Everybody knows that because it's so inconsistent.
You're so right.
You never know if you can get a Blizzard or not, right? Or a McFlurry or whatever, a McFlurry. Because their machine often broken. And that's like a known thing. Like everyone, it doesn't matter where you go. You can go Canada, the States, it doesn't matter. There are jokes, there are memes, there are lots of things about this. You know that if you want an ice cream, McDonald's is not your place because it's so inconsistent. And if you can't be consistent for your own business, how can you be consistent for your clients? And that's the message that they are getting, whether you're saying it or not. And you can argue with me all you want, but the psychological and subconscious message that they're receiving is she can't show up for herself, so she can't show up for me. And they're just not going to hire you. They're going to hire the person that shows up consistently because they're going to say, well, I know if I'm in a pinch, if I reach out to that person, they're probably going to answer in however much time. And so consistency is not just about building that trust with your audience, but it also, you're building that personal brand. You're staying top of mind. You're showing off. And I think you should show off, letting people know how to work with you and letting them in. And it starts building out your audience at the same time because of that consistency. You're being exposed to other audiences, especially if we're playing the algorithm game right.
Exactly. Whew, I love all of that. What a good conversation. Like this was just so filled with so much good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So you have a really awesome freebie. So
yes.
Yeah. And I love your freebie. Like your freebie is so good. It's your free ChatGPT masterclass, right? And it's perfect. It ties right into the topic, what we talked about today, because, well, you tell us what this masterclass is about and why everybody should download it, because if you haven't, I guess, gotten into the ChatGPT world yet, then maybe it's time.
This is the time. I did this class a few weeks ago. It's amazing. You definitely want to go and download it. I walk you through, I'm a very hands-on kind of person. I walk you through how to use ChatGPT. I teach you how to use it for your business. And at the end, I teach you how to use it to come up with you could finish the year if you wanted to, but we do 100 pieces of content and then engagement style content. And then I pair it with Canva and we make 100 engagement graphics to go with it, which is so much fun. And so like if the engagement side of your business is kind of confusing and you're kind of like, I don't know what questions to ask my audience to get them talking to me, you definitely want to download this class. I'm going to teach you how to use it properly. And also, like I said, to build out more content. You can build out all of your content for the rest of the year if you wanted to, just by watching this class.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like ChatGPT to the rescue, right? For all of us who struggle with creating content, you don't have to struggle anymore. Watch Brittany's masterclass.
It makes it so much easier.
I know. And well, you all know that content is recyclable. So, right?
Yes. Repurpose.
Yeah. Okay, so this was so good, so full of good. So where can we find you and how can we work with you, Brittany? I know we can find you on social media all the time.
You can find me on all the social media platforms. Brittany Budd is my name. It's my handle everywhere. Facebook, Brittany Budd, Instagram and TikTok, the Brittany Budd, YouTube, Brittany Budd. I have a podcast. You can listen to it on all major platforms. It's called Get Fully Booked, Go Viral, and Get Rich with Your Content with Brittany Budd. And right now, like Julie said, I am planning a retreat called Content CEO Live. It is happening in the fall. And then the best way to work with me, if you're unfamiliar with me, would be in my membership, the 10K formula. It's $100 a month. It has all kinds of trainings on how to grow your audience, how to start your brand, how to start marketing, how to host events to warm people up, how to start a podcast, all of these things that you want to know and get going in your business. There's an amazing Facebook community filled with female entrepreneurs. And every week we meet for 90 minutes in a hot seat style coaching. It's only $100 a month. It's so good.
That's awesome. I love it. And of course, I'm going to have all those links for you in the show notes. So that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Brittany, for being on the show today. It's been such an amazing conversation. This podcast, I know this episode is going to be so popular because I think that so many of us struggle, I think, a little bit with what to post, what not to post, creating content and all the things. So I think this episode is going to be so helpful. So for so many of us.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for having me. It was super fun. I loved it.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks again. And if you're listening, I will talk to you in the next episode.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast. If you did, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Julie's included a link in the shows to make it nice and easy for you. And if you want to create a beautiful, profitable business of your own, make sure to go unlock your access to Julie's 6 must-have resources for female entrepreneurs. These resources will help you build and grow your business with simplicity and ease. You can find them at juliecbutler.com/freebie vault. We'll see you in the next episode.